Hello everyone. We are just waiting for everyone to join us. We're gonna wait a few minutes before we start today. I'm so excited about today's topic. It's one of my favorite ones when we speak about high fashion. We're gonna talk about investment pieces and luxury bags. Let me explain briefly how the webinar works for those of you who join Zoom for the first time. So down your screen, you have a chat area where you can ask questions. You can send the questions privately to me or in the group chat, so everyone can see them there. You can also poll, so we can do polls if we vote for something. And of course, if you have any question throughout the webinar, I will have like 15 minutes at the end to answer your questions. But also feel free, like if you have a question like during the I speak, feel more than free to stop me and ask in the chat area, because I would like to run this as a very informal webinar and just make sure that you make the most of it and you get the information you want out of it. So in this sense, we'll run it casually and you can ask me anything you wish. We're just gonna wait a few more minutes until everyone joins, but in that time, just make sure that you can see me, you can hear me well, and if you can't, let me know, but it's most of the times it's about your settings from your screen. Great. Great. Just making sure that everyone has good access. Yes, you can also raise hand, Georgie, if you want to ask something out, advise maybe to use the chat area, but at the end, so once you raise your hand, I will allow you to talk at the end and you can ask me your question, or you can just type it in the chat area. So I think everyone is here and we are good to start. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna share with you my screen today, which will be the presentation I will run through. So hope everyone can see my screen now. For those of you who are joining my webinars for the first time, my name is Deni Kiro and I'm a personal and fashion stylist based in London. I have been working in the fashion industry for 8 years now, and I mainly work one-to-one with private clients, helping them on all aspects of their personal style. I also regularly host webinars. This concept started throughout the lockdown, but I decided to continue it afterwards as well. So there will be more topics available in the future. For today, we're going to talk about investment pieces and designer bags, and we'll be focusing on these two aspects. So moving to the next slide, investment pieces. So let's start by thinking, what exactly is an investment piece? So to me, as a stylist, as someone in fashion, an investment piece is something that is timeless and something which you have in your closet for years, because that's what it makes it worth investing in. So I would consider an investment piece like a forever piece, something that you wear a million times over and over with pleasure. It's an item which should increase significantly its value over time and year after year. So when we talk about investment pieces, the most often association is bag, designer bag. And we all know that the handbag speaks louder than words. If we just have a look on the screen, I'm sure everyone can recognize the logo Louis Vuitton. It's one of the most iconic designer bags. However, this is their, I would say, contemporary classic Cappuccino BB collection, but we can all like identify the logo. So when we shop about investment pieces, yes, these could be bags, but these could be also designer sunglasses, belts, frames, scarves, hats, shoes, or fashion jewelry. And what these pieces do is they really elevate an outfit. Because as a stylist, I strongly believe that everyone can look chic regardless on their price point, and you can look amazing from high street or high-end clothes, and when you mix and match them it looks even more cool. But these investment pieces, they have the power to elevate your outfit. So my top tip for when you shop investment pieces, the first one is to avoid spontaneous purchases. What that means is that quite often we normally do this with cheaper items. From my observation, let's say you go in Zara, you see something, you love it, you buy it, but then if it's not considered well, it might stay with the label for quite a long time. So of course we should absolutely avoid that when we talk about designer bags, because the price point is quite huge. So take your time to choose it, and know that it comes, understand that this designer piece comes with the commitment to take care after it and to look after it. And in that sense, we'll be talking about maintenance as well. But there is a major difference between spending and investing. I'm just gonna move the slide further. What's the main difference between spending and investing? I always ask my clients to think about their personal wardrobe, especially about the nicer pieces, as an investment in yourself. And spending means just buying, but investing means strategically buying the right items which are right for you, for your lifestyle, for your personality, and for where you want to be and the image you want to achieve. So why people, let's start by asking the question, why people want to spend a lot of money on a bag, because this is the investment piece I will be focusing on today. Why designer bags are so desirable? Why? There are different reasons. So throughout my practice, I have had clients who want to buy designer bags for very different reasons. So some people want to buy designer bag because they change their position, they go up in their career, they might move to a very high position, to a CEO, or someone who is a company director or managing a lot of people. And they see this as a symbol of status. Quite often people do that, and this is one of the main reasons, like the status reason why they'll buy designer bag. Other people just appreciate the craftsmanship, the quality, the beauty, the uniqueness of the design. Or I have had clients who are just a super fan of the brand and they just really want to support it, and they just love the pieces, and that's why they buy them. So regardless your reason why you want to buy your bag, it's good to ask yourself a few questions before you go shopping. So the first one will be, as I said, why you want this piece. Do you want it as a symbol of status? Do you want it because you appreciate the design? Do you want it because you simply want a better quality bag that's going to last you for longer? Do you want it for the fashion? Why do you want that piece? And on what sort of occasions you would wear it? Would you wear it every day for work? Would you wear it for special occasions? Would you wear it in certain circles of people or in certain places or certain holidays? What will be the place of that item in your wardrobe? And then where this item is placed in your wardrobe, and would it become a good friend with your clothes or a special piece? My advice will be for it to be a good friend, to be honest, because when you spend more or quite a lot of money on an investment piece, you want to enjoy it. You want to be able to wear it and have it in your wardrobe and kind of make the most of it. I have seen people who treat their investment bags as special pieces. I'll never forget one time I had styling. I'm gonna tell you a short story. And I visited my client for a wardrobe cleanse session in her home. And my client, she was a lady who had the most beautiful selection of designer bags. And right, this was quite early in my stylist career. Probably I have been doing it for about 3 years. And I was quite impressed by her collection. She had Chanel, she had Dior, I remember, she had Louis Vuitton, all the designer iconic bag, you would think she would have them. And she used to be a lady who used to work in the city, and now she was staying at home mom. And for obvious reasons, when you're with a toddler, you wouldn't wear them every day. But the case with her was that she treated her bags as a very special, like pieces which she would take out once per year when she goes with her husband for a special dinner or a black tie. And I can see why some people would want to do that, but as a stylist and someone who loves fashion, I was never able to understand it. So I finished the session and I thought that I would never do that if I was her or for myself. I thought that if I want to invest in a piece, I would want to wear it and enjoy it. And this is what I keep on advising my clients, just to buy the items you feel comfortable with the price point to an extent. You would want to wear them often, maybe not every day, maybe you would rotate them, but you would wear them often. They wouldn't stay in your cupboard and you would take them out once per year. Because if you want to do that, if you want to treat your designer bag as a special piece, then I would simply advise you to rent it. That will be much cheaper and much more sustainable, just to rent it for your special event. So in order to make sure that you use it the most and you wear it every day, it needs to be coordinated with your wardrobe, and it needs to align with your personal style and your lifestyle as well. And the last thing is, obviously, do you love it? My strong advice will be to be in love with the first, especially the first designer bag, but obviously every next one as well you buy. And most of us, we intuitively know when we love something. So I think that's very important, obviously not to compromise on a bag or buy it being not 100% sure. So one of the main benefits of designer bags is that they're more durable, they make your outfit look more polished and expensive, and usually hold their value. So as a result, they're worth the investment. And ask yourself when you buy the bag, do you want to resell it after? If you want, you need to consider the resale value of that bag. Or do you want to simply keep it and enjoy it and maybe pass it to your kids or nephews and just have it as something valuable and special in your wardrobe? So the quality of these bags elevate your outfit, and the cost per wear is really worthwhile. So if you get the right bag, which is right for you, for your lifestyle, for your personality, and you wear it a lot, it might come something as a few pounds per wear. So in that sense, these are a few factors you need to consider before you buy your bag. But then what I mainly look in a bag as a stylist before I buy it is the timeless element. Is that bag timeless? Because the timeless element keeps the value of the bag high. It's one of there are a few or quite a few factors, but this is one of the factors. And the timeless element also ensures that you keep on wearing your bag again and again. However, timeless doesn't always necessarily mean conservative or classic. You can buy something which is different from black leather and still get that timeless piece. So if you're comfortable with your own style, you already would know what you will be wearing consistently. So then I would absolutely advise you to invest in something bolder. But if you're still testing out your fashion sense and you're not 100% sure about the type of piece you need, then maybe invest in one piece at a time and see if that makes you feel confident when you wear it. Also, another good way to kind of test your bag before you commit quite a lot of money on it is to rent it. There are quite a few rental platforms at the moment, and they're quite affordable, I would say, for someone who wants to wear designer bags. So before spending a lot of money on your bag, maybe you can subscribe to one of these rental platforms and you can rent similar bags, similar designer or similar brand, or maybe they'll have exactly the same bag, and just see how you like it, how it works with your wardrobe, how comfortable it is for you before you actually spend the money. It's almost like a test drive for bags, and I think it's brilliant. I'll definitely advise you to do that if you're hesitant towards spending a lot of money on your bag. So let's talk about whether we should shop for timeless pieces or trends. So my 100% advice will be to go for timeless pieces. But how do you spot as a stylist a timeless piece? What makes it timeless? So for me, it's all about the shape, the color, and the texture. And obviously the brands you would choose for. So the shape must work with your lifestyle. So for example, my everyday life is on the go. I'm like constantly on my feet, and I need to be hands-free during my styling sessions. So I naturally navigate towards medium to small size bags. But if you, let's say, work in the city and you need to carry a lot of things, you might want to opt for a bigger tote bag. Or if your body shape is let's say if you're petite, you might opt for smaller sizes because they work better with your proportions. So the shape is important, but for example, on the screen, we can see one timeless shape. This is Lady Dior by Christian Dior, but I would say this is contemporary classics. It's very timeless design, but it's not the usual standard classic style. What will be the usual classic? It will be probably the same bag in black or that shade of soft gray, which is iconic for Dior. I would say that will be the standard classic. And this one, because of the texture, because of the fabric, because of the logo, which is not the classic logo that Christian Dior bought writing, I would say it's more like contemporary classics. But is it timeless? I think so. Yeah, you can wear it after 10 years and it will still look quite chic. Is it for everyone? Not necessarily. I would wear it, but if you're not into, let's say, more standout pieces, you might want to opt for a black or simple blush color, which is completely fine. So it all depends on your existing wardrobe. So in that sense, I would say avoid too much trends, opt for timeless style, and make sure that that bag goes with your existing wardrobe. And the size, I think, is one of the most important factors because it has to work with your everyday. So my advice would be to pick a bag which you can style with your everyday and evening outfits, just to make the most of it. Obviously not wearing it every day, but quite often, just to make that cost per wear worthwhile. And this will kind of define the size. The color and the fabric must work with your personal style and existing wardrobe. What that means is that it doesn't need to be, as I said, necessarily cream or black. It could be, let's say, gray or red. But if it works with the rest of your wardrobe, that could be as versatile as black. And how do you shop for designer items? So when I enter in a shop with my client, and let's say we're in the product section, quite often they will navigate towards the black style because it's a common conception that black equals timeless classics, and that's the bag you need to go for. As a stylist, I don't necessarily agree that black associates classics all the time. Yes, it's classic, but also it's quite, I would say, standard in a way that the design of the bag wouldn't stand out as much as if it's in color. And one thing for sure is that when you spend a lot of money on your bag, the last thing you want to see is people with the same bag or quite similar bag, or you most certainly would want that piece to elevate your outfit and to stand out. And I would say black bags are more like a finishing touch. Yes, they go with everything, but they wouldn't necessarily give you that standout effect. So I definitely encourage considering color. And let's look at the different types of designer bags. So I would put designer bags into a few categories, starting with the classic style, the contemporary classics, and the trends. And here on the screen, you can see a visual example with Louis Vuitton. Starting with the classic, their signature logo. People either love it or hate it. If you prefer minimalism, probably it's not going to be your cup of tea. Other people really like it. But either way, love it or hate it, it's a classic for Louis Vuitton. It will always look relevant, and it's something they will keep on doing again and again for these exact reasons. Then the contemporary classics is the Cappuccini BB style. So I on purpose picked that one, quite understated. The logo is still there, but it's not like in a contrasting color. It's very chic, understated elegance, I would say. And this is something which will go with everything in your wardrobe. So this is the contemporary classic. And then the trends would be like seasonal trends at the moment. The color dye effect is quite popular, the rainbow colors. Almost every brand is doing variation of these. So this will be the trend. If it's your first designer bag, I would 100% advise to opt for contemporary classics or classics before you step into trends when you shop trends. I would say when you have a really good staple bags, you have all the classic pieces, you have a neutral bag which goes with everything, whether gray, black, or nude. You have maybe one bag which is an accent color, again, matching with quite a few outfits. And then once you have these staple pieces, then you can step into trends if you wish. But I wouldn't start with the trends as, let's say, your first designer bag. And then what will be the function of your bag? So here on the screen, we can see Sarah, who I styled for the first image, and then it's one of her street looks on the second image. So these are two very good examples of very different functions of your bag. So before you decide on what you should invest, my main advice will be to ask yourself the question, what do you want to do with that bag? Do you want that bag to be your go-to bag, the bag which goes with every single piece in your wardrobe, and the bag which completes your outfits but doesn't stand out so much, like the example on the first image? Or do you want that image to be the hero piece, the wow piece, which really elevates and makes your bag? So I'm sure everyone can notice the difference. She's wearing Chanel on both images, but on the first image, her bag just finishes off the style. The bag is not the main accent. It's just there to complete the outfit. And that bag is quite versatile. The size is medium, it's a clutch, it's neutral, it's gonna go with everything. The second bag, it really elevates the outfit. It makes it. I see first the bag and then the outfit kind of finishes off the look. So what do you want out of your bag should be your first questions. And I would say, think about it. Do you want a go-to bag? Do you want a hero bag? And there is no right or wrong here, because you can make a really good use of both styles if you know what you're buying and if it goes with your wardrobe. You can have that red bag, and if it coordinates nicely with your wardrobe at home, you can wear it with everything. It still can be your go-to bag, but it's going to be more bolder accent in your outfits. It could go with neutral tailoring, with denim. In the summer, you can wear it with linen, with dresses, with florals. You can wear it in the winter. You can wear it with jumpers, with coats. It's really an all-season bag, and it's as versatile, as I said, as neutrals. So this is something you really need to consider before you decide on your bag. Just plan ahead, and don't even think about the brand, don't think about the price, think about what you want out of that bag. And I'm gonna give you a little case study or example from my own experience, how I chose the right bag for me. So this is probably one of the designer bags I wore the most. It's Valentino style. And you can see a few examples of the occasions I wore it. Probably on my Instagram is going to be every third image I wore that bag, really a lot. And I'm quite pleased with the choice. So I got that Valentino from a sample sale. It was still quite expensive, but it was much discounted than normal. And I fall in love with that lilac color. But I knew quite well my colors, and lilac and blush and pinks are some of my strongest palettes, and my capsule wardrobe and both for winter and summer is based around these palettes. So I immediately knew that that bag is gonna become a good friend with my clothes. And I wear it from winter, you can see the one in front of the Christmas tree, to summer with shorts and trainers, to spring with a trench coat, mid-seasons with tweed jacket, and special events with floral dresses. So I think that bag really paid off for the cost per wear. And I wanted to include that example just to show you how the bag doesn't need to be black or cream to go with everything. It just needs to be right for your wardrobe. And one more aspect of that bag is I chose the scratch resistant leather because I knew that I'm gonna wear that. I was about to wear that bag quite often since I had my experience with the client when I saw that she doesn't wear her designer bags, and I thought to myself, I would never do that. So I knew when I'm buying designer bags, I wanna wear them. And I know that I don't always treat my bags very well, so I wanted something really scratch resistant. And I'm really happy with the quality. A few other brands do that leather. It really looks like brand new, considering the amount of times I wore it. I'm gonna show you a few examples afterwards, but just one aspect to consider, of course, as I said, is the texture and the leather. And if you're aiming to wear that bag a lot, make sure that it's good quality leather. By no means pick the flat thin leather because scratches look horrible on it, or just pick a fabric which is easy to maintain, doesn't show a lot of scratches, and that one doesn't get dirty as well, even though it's a light color. Also, what I wanted to avoid for myself, for my personal style, is too many logos, so I picked understated logo. I didn't want the bag to stand out. I wanted to finish off my outfit, but it could stand out as well depending on the styling because of its color. So this is just an example how I did my shopping for a designer bag. Again, it's very personal. It's going to be different for you or for any of the clients I work with, but it's just a few insights and tips I found useful for my shopping. And then obviously the size, I wanted something which fits quite a few items when I need, like notebook. I think I even fitted a pair of heels once, which was brilliant. But now let's say I'm looking for smaller size. So again, you need to consider this as per your everyday and body shape. Do you want small, medium, or large size? And moving forward, the next step, once you know the function of your bag, would it be a go-to or a hero piece, would be to choose the brand. There are so many brands on the market at the moment. I kind of placed some of the most popular on the time scale, starting from Prada, Chloe, which are considered slightly more affordable, going to some of the most expensive pieces like Birkin and Kelly, and anything in between. So I know it could be quite overwhelming to choose your best brands with so many brands on the market. So I kind of broke the brands into a few categories, but first I'm going to start with the investment bags. So we said that you decide about your bag. Do you want to keep it and wear it and kind of pass it away in the family, or do you want to resell it at some point? If you want to resell it, I would absolutely advise you to consult with a bag specialist as per the style and the brand and what will increase its value, because some bags can go up from their original value and you can actually wear them and sell them for more, while others will not. A general advice I can give you is to make sure you opt for some of the old brands. So designer handbags are called investment pieces because they can have a great resale value. Sometimes the retail price, as I said, of classic handbag increases over time. This usually happens with bags such as Chanel flat bag or the 2.55 bag, Hermes, and Louis Vuitton. So these three brands are also called the Holy Trinity, and they're the safest option when it comes to investing. To get the most resale value for your investment bag, my top advice will be invest in the Holy Trinity if you're not sure in what to invest. So Chanel, Louis Vuitton, or Hermes. While the value of luxury handbags can fluctuate with so many trends, these three iconic brands will guarantee you good resale value. So I'm going to start with Chanel, the classic style. I'm sure that's what most of us associate with the investment piece. Then Hermes, Birkin, or Kelly. These are quite difficult to source, I would say, but they would have a good resale value. And then Louis Vuitton. So I, on purpose here, didn't include the most obvious choices, but these two are very interesting. So the first one is their contemporary classic designs, but it's in exotic leather. So some of these bags, which are in special leather or limited edition, will also, you'd have higher chances for a better resale value. But it's not all the time about the initial price when we talk about resale value. And the second example is quite good. It's the multi-pochette little bag. It's that one with the logo, and it has a long strap. And basically that bag is constructed of a few pouches, a smaller one with a zip, a main one, and the circular one. That's why it's called multi-pochette bag. So that bag is a really, really interesting example of a bag which increased its value more than 3 times. The original price of that bag was a little bit over 1,000, which really is the entry point for Louis Vuitton. And just to compare, they have bags which go up to 30,000 pounds. So this is really, the entry point of Louis Vuitton. But what happened with that bag? It ended up being viral in terms of trending, and it got sold out really quick. It was also about people who wore it. It became really, really trendy. And sold out everywhere. And then I had clients who were with me on the waiting list for that bag because Louis Vuitton discontinued it. And I managed to find it through a reseller. But the price was, as far as I remember, over 3,000, which was 3 times more than the original price. So this is a good example how a bag, which is an entry price point, it's not the most expensive one, can also increase its value. And it's not necessarily about the special leather or because it was limited edition, because it was not. It was just really popular, trending design, which I think is also very functional, and that's why women liked it. You can break it out, wear it separately, wear it together, wear it during the day or in the evening by wearing only one of the pouches. And I still have inquiries about it, but the price is 3 times more until Louis Vuitton don't decide to release it back if they do. So yeah, that's an interesting example for an investment piece, which was more of an entry level. Moving forward, I'm going to start with the affordable luxury bags, and then I'm going to talk you through different brands. So when we talk about brands, remember my timeline. We have on one line the what we'll call affordable luxury, and what is generally considered for affordable luxury bag is something around or under £1,000. So some of these bags start from, I think, from about 400 or 500 and go up to a few hundreds or a little bit over 1,000, but they're generally quite accessible. You can buy them online, some of them, or they have plenty of stock. Some of them is the Prada nylon re-edition bag, which got popular like in the 90s, and it is made from that water resistant nylon, and it had a revival a few seasons ago. It's still very much in. You can see this is in back. It comes in different colors, and it also comes with a longer strap like the multi pochette one. So this is, I would say, an entry point which is quite affordable for a designer bag. Next one would be Chloe, different styles. So I included that little one because it has a small strap, it has a long strap, it's quite functional, it's good for every day. I think at the moment it's running on sales and it's quite much discounted. So it's under £1,000. But why I included it is also because of the leather. It has that croc effect, gloss like leather, which I think will be quite hard wearing, and it won't show scratches, so it will be good for every day. I actually pre-put that bag for a client of mine, and I think it's a good designer bag which is not too expensive, because some people feel conscious to wear something very expensive every day, so you're kind of guilt-free. It goes with everything. Because of the color, still the design stands out because it's a light color instead of a dark color, and it's just like versatile and functional, I think, for entry-level designer bag. Next one is the small. This is like the mini Gucci bag, the Stella McCartney bag, which have become like a classic over time. Like since they showed it in Sex and the City, you would see quite a few women wearing it. So it's again under 1,000. And some of the high-end luxury brands like Dior and Louis Vuitton will also have more affordable entry-level price point. For example, there is the logo Dior mini saddler pouch and the portrait from Louis Vuitton. These both are under £1,000. They're quite little, they're like small clutches, but I would say they are functional for the right person. If your lifestyle is quite dynamic like mine, for example, I'll totally wear that sort of size. So if you don't like carrying around a lot of things, I think it's good option for you. And it also goes during the day with the long strap, and in the evening as a clutch. If you pick the right colors, it could be all seasons as well. So it's a good entry-level luxury bag. I would say most of them, apart from the Prada ones, are quite versatile in terms of colors. They will go with a lot of outfit choices. Then we have something which is more fashionable, not necessarily about the trends, but more fashion forward style bags. I would say the Louis Vuitton one I showed you is something quite fashionable. Anything metallic will make a bag look fashionable, or anything logo like the Fendi logo. That logo was invented by Karl Lagerfeld for Fendi, and it started as a trend, but now it's a classic thing. So it's quite timeless. It might be this season, and in a few seasons they will bring it back. It's iconic logo. Then the Christian Dior tote bag. Fendi also have a bag called Baguette, which became viral in the past, and now it's coming back. They have that new design, the California collection with the colors. Or let's say if a classic bag is done in an unusual fabric or texture like the denim Chanel, that's also quite fashionable. Also brands like Valentino with the studs, I can immediately say it's Valentino just because of the signature studs, look quite fashionable. Saying that, they could be quite timeless as well if your personal style is rock chic and you wear a lot of leather, a lot of denim, and this will incorporate quite nicely and you wear it for a long time for the right person and the right personal style. So this is what I would call a more fashionable take on designer bags. Moving forward, let's talk a little bit about classics. Somehow classics feel like safe choice when we talk about designer bags, don't they? And especially if it's your first one, classics are quite popular. And I can see why. I think they're so beautiful, and you can still have a classic bag in your outfit but look trendy and fashionable and through the styling. So buying a classic bag doesn't necessarily mean your personal style is classic. We have Lady Dior in red and the iconic gray for Dior. This bag was called after Lady Diana because she was seen wearing it quite often. Interesting story on this bag is that Lady Diana was one of her favorite brands, and even when you see the movie about her life, you would see that they used it as part of her styling in the movie, and you can see the back of the actress who plays Lady Diana, and you can just see some of the tailoring, the short hairstyle and the back, and even without seeing the face or without seeing the title, you can immediately say this is Princess Diana, just because of how signature it was for her. So I would say this is quite a classic style. The Fendi Peekaboo style, which is the second bag on the right. So you have the black style, you can see down, and you also have something in neutral. I think this is more updated version on that classic. It has that scarf, which is an accessory which is additional. You can take it or remove it. It's a way to accessorize it. But this is an example of the scratch resistant leather, which I think is brilliant if you're planning to wear your bag every day. It's the same as my Valentino bag, and I think it's just so good in terms of being durable. Of course, we have Chanel. We can't go on a classic edit without Chanel. So we have the flap style and the 2.55 style, the red one. And then we have the saddler bag. So the saddler bag started as a trend. It started being really trendy, and now it has turned into classic. So it's something which will come back again and again and again. But to make sure to enhance that classic style, I would say if you want a classic variation of that bag, I would opt for really classic color without contrasting logos, something quite muted, something quite simple, which goes with everything. And here it's worth saying that one design of a bag in different textures and colors could be fashionable or classic or a contemporary classic. Almost like the tote bag I presented at the beginning. So if that bag was in a trendy fabric, let's say denim-like, or maybe in the rainbow colors, which are quite in at the moment, or with the Dior logo, I would say it's more like fashionable, but being in a simple neutral color, it immediately becomes a classic. And then the Lady Dior, it has the little clutch, which is a little bit smaller size. So again, for the right woman and the right lifestyle, maybe the clutch will work better than the actual Lady Dior. So here are a few classics in terms of bags. And moving forward, we have something what I would call the contemporary classics. So this is quite new in terms of boutique being popular for the recent few years. But my prediction as a stylist is that this will turn into a contemporary classics, that look will stay. How I would define contemporary classics? I would say there are more understated, so no obvious logos. You can't really say the brand. You don't have so many logos. It's all about the shape, the design, the signature design, and the right people will know where is that bag from. So it's a little bit less loud way to wear a designer bag. And here we have the pouches from Bottega, the classic one in beige, the cassette, the new pouch with the strap. I think the woven design, which are these two, is great if you want to wear the bag every day because it's a little bit more resistant, and it comes in all these gorgeous colors. They're portrayed in different sizes. I would say I would strongly recommend you to consider some sort of color if you're opting for contemporary classics. Of course, you can pick the black one, but my opinion as a stylist is the design of some of these bags stands out better when they're in color. Of course, there are a few exceptions. I on purpose picked that one because of the texture, because of the design. This works well in black. But just imagine that pouch in black. I think it's going to lose some of its statement effect. And I think colors like stand out better. And then some more traditional brands such as Dior also do some contemporary classics. What I would define as contemporary classic again is the lack of prominent logo, the color, the sculptural minimalist design of that bag. And also here we can see the Louis Vuitton one, because that logo doesn't stand out. It's quite understated, quite minimalist, quite contemporary, I would say. It will be a different story, of course, if it had the loud prints or patterns. And then a very interesting brand, it's called Gabrielle Hearst. Again, she has been quite popular last few years. So this is one of her signature bags. It has quite sculptural design. This is actually a video. I'm going to try to play it if I can. Oops. I don't think it's gonna work. Oops, I think it will. Yeah, so this is the bag in store, and again it has all these beautiful colors, and it's quite a modern like option for a designer bag. Again, if you want something quite resistant, I'll opt for the leather. I think the snake is beautiful. If you want something more for the evening, they have beautiful satin designs, which are by no means everyday ones, or they have simple leather as well. You might see famous faces as Meghan Markle, quite often like sporting the bag. And it's quite classy and elegant, but at the same time very modern. So it's a brand I would recommend considering if you like that contemporary aesthetics. Moving forward to the next slide is the status bags. So my slides were going as per the price point, starting with the affordable luxury, ending up with the status bags. What are the status bags? These bags often have long waiting list and 4-figure price tag, sometimes 5-figure. So think about Kelly, Birkin, or anything in exotic leathers, limited editions, or niche brands. Hermes is one of the most popular ones. We have the Kelly, which is the small style, and the Birkin, which is the bigger style. These bags are quite difficult to source. They have a waiting list, which sometimes could go as long as 6 years for certain designs. What's the main difference between these bags is that the Kelly is more like sculptural. It has one strap and a longer strap, and it comes in really mini sizes from the mid sizes. And then the Birkin has 2 straps and it's bigger. Then you have the Chanel one, which is the ultimate status bag. This specific one is in caviar leather, which is more exclusive than the standard leather. You also have the Peekaboo Fendi bag, the one you would see in the middle. So these 2 bags are the classic design, but they're again in unconventional colors, and they're in exotic leather. I think both of them are crocodile. And the difference between such a bag, which is a limited edition, with the standard bag could be as much as 20,000 in between the standard leather classic style, which will be around 2,000 or 3,000, and the limited edition. So it's quite a significant, I would say, like difference between 2 of them in terms of style. And then we have that bigger size of Louis Vuitton bag, which doesn't have the logo, and it's a little bit more understated, again, in a simple leather. So these are some of the status bags. Of course, you wouldn't see many people on the street with them. Probably it's more about celebrities who would wear them. But it's interesting to know more about them and to know the top of the range when we talk about status bags. Also, some bags, let's say the Louis Vuitton one I included, it's not so high in price point. I think this bag is probably around their entry level, a few thousands or around 1,000. But because of the logo, quite often it's associated with status again, because everyone knows the Louis Vuitton logo. And the brand and the style is quite classic. So status bags are not always about the price tag, but in 90% they are. And it's about the limited edition, the limited material, the leather, and the waiting list, which defines them. And sometimes you can see someone in a really simple outfit, like the example of the lady on the screen. So what she's wearing a basic t-shirt and simple leather trousers, simple. She has like very casual hair. She looks very understated, but what she has the status Hermes style. She has one of the more mid-range variations of it, but it immediately is associated with status and elevates the outfit. So this is about status bags. And the last thing when we talk about all these ranges is I would like to add a sustainable luxury bag. So this brand is called Lodnon. I discovered them during last London Fashion Week. And I was quite impressed by the concept. So Lodnon is the world's first ethical luxury foldable bag. And it's basically for those ladies who want to lead more conscious lives. I met the designer, she's quite incredible. She used to work in the city. So she comes from a corporate background. And based on her personal experience, she designed that bag. So that bag is all about, obviously, the design, but also about the functionality, the way it's made. It's made from ethically sourced leather in a sustainable way. So it's about supporting positive fashion. And for quite many people in fashion industry, sustainability is the new luxury. So I think it's a beautiful concept for a luxury bag. It's not as expensive as the bags I showed before. I think it's around 500 as far as I remember, or around that price. So it's less than 1,000, but that bag is meant to last you. It's meant to be really good quality, the leather, and it's meant to be practical, which is, I think, the main driving force behind the design. So I'm going to show a little video again, if it allows me to do so. Oh yeah, you can see how the bag unfolds here. As you can see, I was quite impressed by the concept because the way they displayed the bag at the beginning, I thought it's different designs. I didn't realize that that small pouch is actually turns into a tote bag. So I was like quite surprised when I found out. And I would say this bag is more about someone who wants to be practical, who wants to be functional, who wants to be sustainable, and who wants to be different, because it's not the commercial choice. But I thought it's going to be something nice for you to consider if you want to go towards the sustainable luxury road. Because as a stylist, I'm quite committed to support sustainability and always try to give sustainable option to my clients when they want to or when they're interested. And this is the one I would choose in terms of sustainable luxury bags. Another one which will be more expensive will be the Gabriel Hearst brand, which I showed you, the sculptural circular bag. It's also sustainably sourced, and Gabriel Hearst has that mission for being sustainable, both for her clothes and accessories, as well as Stella McCartney, but it's a little bit more commercial choice, I would say, in comparison to that bag. moving forward, I have a few more slides to show you. I wanted to talk a little bit about shopping vintage, because shopping vintage could be a more affordable way to get a designer bag. It's also a way to get something a little bit more unique, something not everyone will have, something a little bit more special and personal. Shopping vintage, to be honest, is a webinar on its own. There are so many aspects you need to consider if you're going to spend more than the usual vintage items in terms of price tag when you shop. I'll briefly mention a few. So consider from where you shop vintage. If you go to a market or a shop, make sure it's reputable. The second image I'm showing you is from Italy. They actually have the most beautiful vintage shopping markets. It's in Milan. I spent working a few seasons, one Christmas there as a personal stylist, and I visited often, and I kept on loving shopping the vintage items in their markets for my clients, but also for myself as well. And you can get many different designs. You can actually meet the owners because the area is quite affluent, and some of the rich people would sell their items or would have their assistant to sell it for them and explain you how they got it. Sometimes they're quite older, so you might get some proper vintage items, but it's so much fun to shop there, and you can get also some good bargains. Alternatively, there are quite a few places in London. Probably the most popular one would be Vestiaire Collective, but you can go to some physical shops as well, or sometimes some of the local shops in, let's say, in South Kensington might have some good pieces as well. But when you shop vintage, make sure you familiarize yourself with the specifics of the brand. For example, certain brands have little signature things which will tell you if the bag is genuine or no. For example, the way the logo is positioned, or the inside lining of the bag, or the way the print is. Or you can also read it by the original packaging. You have all the rights to ask about it if you're shopping vintage. I would be more hesitant to shop vintage from online sites, which are less popular, because you never know. I would want to see it in person. And I think it's also part of the fun, right? To shop and try different items which are vintage. So this is another way to start with a designer bag vintage. Another way is to shop vintage or rent. So this has become quite popular recently. There are quite a few rental platforms such as Her, My Wardrobe HQ, By Rotation, who will allow you to rent a bag without the commitment to buy it. For which occasions this is good? I would say for something quite trendy, like the seasonal trendy bags in bold colors, something you don't want to spend a lot, or you wouldn't wear, or simply maybe you just don't want to spend a lot of money on a bag, but you want to try it and see how it's going to work with your style. I think it's a brilliant concept, and you can rent them. Different brands obviously have different starting points, but it's quite affordable. And then it's also the Cocoon Club, which I think is a brilliant concept. This is a subscription website. So you become a member, you subscribe, and you can rent different bags, designer bags, every month without buying them. I think it's £99, the subscription, and you can change them and always look different without committing. Or you can simply try the bag you're planning to buy before you buy it. I absolutely advise on that if you can, because it's makes it slightly safer to spend a lot of money on a bag. And also another place where they restore bags, rent or sell, is the Handbag Clinic. Farfetch also have pre-owned bags. But if you go there, you'll notice again that some of the pre-owned bags keep their value or cost probably even more. But these are all trustworthy places where you can either try or buy or resell your bag. So just to summarize what we discussed today, towards buying your designer bag. So before you even step into thinking about the designers or the actual look, think what you want out of that bag. Do you want to resell it at some point? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to wear it? quite often, and do you want it to become a good friend of your wardrobe like I do with my bags, or do you want to wear it less often? But on these occasions, my advice would be just keep on renting. I honestly don't see the value of having a Chanel and wearing it once per year. Very individual choice. This is my personal opinion here, but rental would be better if you want to keep it a special piece. But if you want to go towards the route of wearing it and enjoying the design and the beauty and the quality, then the next steps will be decide, would that be a go-to bag or would it be a hero piece in your wardrobe? Decide on the color and the size. The size must work with your proportions, with your lifestyle. Do you want to carry a lot of things in your bag? Do you want to go hands-free with the long strap option? What will suit better your life? Because if you don't do that, you would end up not wearing it as much as you could. Also think about the color. Pick a color that coordinates nicely with your color palette at home of your wardrobe. That doesn't necessarily need to be black or cream. I would say people who opt for black or cream probably are just not so confident how to style different colors. But if you work with a stylist, or if you are quite confident in terms of styling it yourself, you can make more use of a bag in color or print in comparison to a black one. For me, a classic bag is also white or cream or neutral pastel color, and I think it could bring a beautiful, elegant color accent to your outfits, and in this way it will stand out more, because one of the main reasons we shop bags is we want them to stand out, we want them to make out our outfits. We don't want no one to notice them, because if we just want a simple bag, we can just go to mid-range places and shop something to finish off our look. So think about all these aspects. Think about then your budget. Do you want affordable luxury, mid-range, or something quite like as an investment status bag? Where do you want to stand? Do you have any brand preferences you like? Maybe you're more romantic, maybe you enjoy more classic style with feminine touch, and in this case you might want to consider Lady Dior. Maybe you like more contemporary classics, then Bottega or the minimal options from Louis Vuitton might be better, or maybe you want to look fashionable and trendy, and then a metallic bag or a bag with a print would be a better option. Or would you want a status bag? Then you would consider maybe Chanel or Hermes, or something towards that price tag. Where do you want to stand with your bag? And just as a closing line to today, as a stylist, I really advise you, my top tip will be to buy things when you need them, and buy things that you truly love and you will want to wear for a long, long time. This was it for today, for our webinar. Let me know if you have any questions. If you do, you can send them in the chat. I will be happy to reply any questions on the bags, or on the styles, or anything else you want to ask. Also, if you're interested to have one-to-one personal styling, wardrobe cleanse, or consultation with me, you can check my website and explore how I work one-to-one with clients. But either way, I would say a successful designer bag, purchasing a designer bag, is all about pre-planning, doing your research, thinking about how it coordinates with your wardrobe. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I enjoyed having you all. I can't see any questions, so let me see, someone raised their hand. Hi, Georgie. If you want to ask a question, I'm gonna unmute you now, because I can see that you have raised your hand. Or you can just drop it in the chat area. Fabulous. Well, thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope I can see you in my next webinar. If you have any questions afterwards, you can always email me at stylist@denikiro.com. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.